I want to get to some conversation around what's holding back the industry and what can be done to overcome the things that are holding us back. And my next question for you both dovetails well with an audience question from Frank around what innovations are still left to tackle in the mAb manufacturing space, given that it's so highly industrialized. And my next question for you both was going to be, what are some dynamics or factors that you see currently holding biopharma back from realizing process efficiency? So maybe we can tackle those two in tandem. And I'll let either one of you jump in.
Yeah, I mean, I always love to talk about manufacturing technology, like automation and process analytics. I think there's still a lot of space there to grow and develop more insights and tools around. We still have a lot of companies using paper-based records and or maybe digitizing those paper-based records. So it's just one small step further than that. But the dynamics and the hurdles to that are the cost of implementing. There's a talent piece as well, but I actually think the talent piece is shifting more so that companies who do put in that investment and adopt digital systems are going to be more enticing to younger professionals looking to get into the industry.
Yeah, and if I can add on that, we talked a lot about adoption of continuous manufacturing and process intensification, and assuming that those components are now in place, and further assuming that now we're beginning to introduce more complex molecules into the system. I think to Avril's point, being able to monitor that process in real time and respond to the sort of unique complexities of that molecule in real time through automation, through data sharing and digitalization. I think those are the kinds of things, while maybe daunting to think about implementing, will really begin to make these kind of processes really efficient.
Mm-hmm. Avril, I want to pose a question to you, and I'm struggling with how I want to word it. So, as I mentioned from the outset, EQRx makes a very kind of forward public statement around its desire to make, biologic therapies more, to democratize them, make them more available, however you kind of want to phrase that, increase access, reduce costs. And I remember one time you and I were talking, I think I used the word, it almost comes off as altruistic, and you're like, I don't know if I want to go and use that word. But so the question I want to get to is, how do you at your company, how do you guys sort of draw connections between the efficiencies you're trying to enable and sort of that end game, or at least what's perceived to be the end game of, reduced payer or patient costs and increased accessibility? Again, I'm the master at asking great big giant questions that are difficult to answer concisely, but just help me kind of get my mind around that. Like, how do you measure that? How do you kind of chart your progress?
Yeah, I don't have all the answers, but I'm definitely committed to working on it. I think one part of it is understanding the floor in terms of cost of all the different things you need to do, whether it's development, manufacturing, raw materials. Like, you need to know how low you can go. And you need to be asking yourself when you're making decisions, some of them, all of them have an interdependency, as I've mentioned many times. But one of those is going to be for EQRx, does it serve our mission? And that's an important question that I don't know everyone has always asked themselves in my career.
Yeah. Dr. Lee, would you chime in on that at all and give some thoughts on how AltruBio sort of, I guess at least attempts to chart or measure that progress?
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, of course, we are dependent on external manufacturing to to make our product. And so for me, the challenge then is to keep pace with the advances that are occurring in the industry, and to make sure that it is able to meet our needs, and sort of keep step with the kind of innovation that we want to see in the drug development and drug discovery space. It is highly encouraging to me to see the kinds of technology advances in manufacturing. We talked a lot about intensified processes and continuous processes in manufacturing in this podcast. And those are things that I think in large part do really support our mission quite a bit. Going forward, I'm sure we will have other challenges as we look to commercialization of our products. And so again, we will need to thoroughly explore the landscape of service providers to make sure that their technologies allow us to be competitive and allow us to sort of make good on our mission to provide our drug to patients.
Perfect. All right. So I want to present our third and final polling question for the audience. We've been talking about some of the factors that are kind of holding the industry back from adopting process efficiencies. What holds your organization back from investing in tools and technologies that improve bioprocess efficiency? So your options are technical barriers or limitations, quality concerns, regulatory concerns, cost to upgrade or retool, supply costs, supply chain challenges, lack of knowledge, or lack of will in the head office. So remember, the responses to these questions are anonymously presented. So if lack of will in the head office is your response, there won't be anything held against you for choosing that. While our audience is responding to that question, Avril and Jean, dare to venture any guesses on what this poll might reveal?
No matter what you choose, there's probably several that you're up against.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm guessing cost to upgrade, retool will be a big one, because that's a big sort of upfront budget buster that can be a little bit scary to consider, particularly for those who are really more looking at the short term.
Yeah. Miles, let's put the results up there and see what the audience has to say. Technical barriers. Yeah. Oh, very, very few brave enough to say lack of will on the head office. But yes, costs is right up there, regulatory concerns and technical barriers and limitations. I guess that would be expected.